It seems 2019 is about to be done, but not before the holiday season. We're talking Black Friday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, and all of that, and how you can use that to your creative product's advantage right now on New Amsterdam Radio. I gotta say, New Amsterdam Radio is brought to you part by Anchor FM. Have you ever thought about making your own podcast? You see, when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? And most importantly, I don't want to deal with cables and wires and all those things. You see, the answer to every single one of these questions is pretty simple. Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And you can use your phone, which is pretty awesome. Now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. So if you ever wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. I can't lie, man. I love that intro music. Of all the clips and sound effects on Anchor, that Compton is actually my favorite. How's everyone doing? It's your boy Flobo Boyce. This is New Amsterdam Radio, a short-form podcast series for those of us who are creatives. Because if you have an original idea, you are a citizen of New Amsterdam. Established in 2017, it's growing, it's moving, it's shaking. And I got to thank you for that. Thank you for sharing the show, telling your friends about it, listening to it on Stitcher or Spreaker or Spotify or iTunes, all that stuff. And I read the comments and I read your DMs and your messages and how we can improve the show and how we can talk about different things. But and that's awesome. That's why I like doing it, actually, to hear from other creatives like yourself and how the show has helped you. So if you guys haven't had the inkling to reach out, now's the time. You know, I'm available at flobito.com. That's FLOBITO.com. Or you can shout at me on Twitter. You know, I'm on Twitter at Flobo Boyce. I'm on Instagram at Flobito and DJ Flobito if you're looking for a DJ in the Southern California area. I always check my messages fairly quickly. So questions, comments, concerns, all that stuff is, again, greatly appreciated. I am recording this the Friday before Thanksgiving 2019, November 22nd. It's kind of like Purge night here in Los Angeles. Surely I jest. It being the last Friday. Fridays here in Los Angeles are notoriously bad for traffic. Los Angeles is bad enough for traffic as it is, but Fridays is when people usually take off early and they try to go east to Vegas or to other family members, and traveling east after, say, 3:30 can be a bit of a trying endeavor. I will say this, on the last Friday before Thanksgiving, that exodus has started as early as 11:45. I had a meeting this morning and got canceled, came back. I was going back west because I live in the west side of town, and seeing the traffic on the other side made you go, what is going on? Is there something wrong? Oh, wait, no. It's the holiday season. It gave me the idea for today's episode. You know, once Thanksgiving comes through the pipe, again, I always say this on many different platforms. If you guys follow me anywhere, whether it's my stand-up comedy or my hosting, Thanksgiving is my least favorite holiday for many reasons. But once Thanksgiving starts, we're in the holiday season. There's Black Friday, there's Christmas, there's Kwanzaa, there's Hanukkah. Sometimes Ramadan falls in that area, but sometimes it doesn't either. But the idea is that it's generally the holidays. And what does that mean? Now, if you're someone like me who can be a lot of times in a very go, go, go kind of mentality, you kind of dread the holidays. And that's when people say things like, well, you know, it's December 1st. It's slowing down for the holidays. I'll get back to you in the new year. And then you usually punch the air and go, oh, that's like 4 weeks away. You're telling me no business can be done? But I would say this. When I was a kid, I loved it. I loved being able to be off from school, to work on projects that minded to me and see new shows and hang out with the family. And those were the few times where my mom would allow me to get 3 or 4 video games from Blockbuster to play on a rental instead of the one at a time. So I'm not a totally Ebenezer Scrooge when it comes to the holidays, but it is kind of a season packed in together where you may have to adjust for when working on your projects. So the big one is Thanksgiving, I mentioned before, and that is the firing gun. That usually starts most of the, I would say not most, I'd say half of the holiday things. And yeah, there's music being played and some displays in stores, but the idea of the whole commerce aspect of the holiday season really comes from Thanksgiving. The idea is that things shut down for this magical Thursday in November. I'm sure you can see my sarcasm here. You supposed to hang out with your family, and then the next day, Black Friday is what they call it, because stores want to sell so many products and services they can be in the black as opposed to being in the red, occurs. And then it's just a mad dash. Did you get everything off your list? Are you an early shopper or are you a late shopper? Are you going to get the doorbuster deals at Friday morning at 3 a.m. or are you going to do the Cyber Monday deals 3 days later? And for someone like yourself, if you have a creative project which can be bought, for example, if you sell a product or a service, it can be very enticing. A lot of webinars and seminars would say, here's how you pivot and transition your business to be able to service your holiday customer base. And that's something that's very, very important. I'm not going to knock that. We'll get more into details how you can use it for your own endeavors just a little bit after the break. But I will say this. Before we even think about making your products and services available for the holiday season, you have to strategize. What exactly are you trying to accomplish this holiday season? For me, it's quarter 4. But for your business, it's quarter 2, quarter 1, it's all the same. There's a period where it's almost acceptable to be able to be in the mind of buying things. If you're cynical, you can say, we are just victim of consumerism. If you're idealistic, you say, well, of course we have to buy things to be able to give them to others and the less fortunate. So, but everyone's kind of in agreement. It's really open to pass ideas and products and services around. Hey there, citizens. Flobo here. Besides being a DJ or MC and an all-around nice guy, I am a stand-up comedian first and foremost. In fact, my album, American for Now, is available wherever you get your music. We're talking Apple Music, we're talking iTunes, we're talking Spotify. American for Now is just a crazy take about one person's first-generation experience being in this country when it comes to taking your mom out to Memphis or serving jury duty and much, much more. The album was called American for Now, and it's by me, Flobo Boyce. Comedy unfiltered. Before the break, we're talking about the strategy of the holiday season. And what exactly do I mean? For some industries, that may be a little bit cut and dry. For example, if you are a fashion designer and there's pretty much clear divisions within the seasons of the year of where your collection should pretty much act accordingly. You have to determine at some point in now what will be popular in the future when we come up with your designs and ideas. But for those like me who have a service that's technically evergreen, how exactly do we try to attack the differences of what is considered acceptable in our consumerist or giving idealistic version of the holidays? For example, I am a mobile DJ. I take my equipment to events and I play music. Well, yeah, there's more weddings in the summer and there's more holiday parties in the holiday season, quite frankly, but my business, my core business, does not change. I show up, I meet my clients, I play music exceptionally well, and I pack down and go home. But you think about the season and all the different corporate parties, for example, that are having these holiday parties, and you might tailor your advertising. You might spend all spring having pictures of couples having the time of their life on the dance floor, but then you may shift to a really clubby atmosphere rager for a corporate party. Now, in my experience, I've never done a corporate club party rager, but when people are looking for DJs, they want that ability. They want that person who can stretch and do that, even though the actual result ends up being a lot more tame than what happens. So you'll notice a lot of my advertising changes. I'll have a lot more of me in the dark room with the head down, headphones up, mixing and scratching. Whereas during the summer and springtime, you see more of the couples, the outdoor open spaces, the ceremony, the pageantry of the art form. But the core product is the same. What about someone like that who makes certain arts and crafts? You can tailor your actual crafts for the holidays. You can have Santa hats and snowmen. You can change your advertising and have more of a Christmas theme with your Instagram ads or Facebook ads. But you can even try to go in a different direction with your content. For example, let's say during the summer, you have a video series where you sit down with other creators and you talk about something that's pretty much a common ground. So just for this example, we'll say you make miniatures. In the summer, you sit down with other people who make miniatures and talk about the game, the art form, the craft, the miniature making. But let's say during the holidays, you still have that original idea, but you tweak it a bit. And you take that same concept of sitting with experts, but you sit down with amateurs, people who are making miniatures for the first time. It's bonus content, but it kind of gives your customers, or at least the people at the top of your sales funnel, those who may be considering buying your products, something cool and interesting and different to latch onto. A remix, if you will, to your advertising, to your broadcasting, to your marketing. You know, when someone's a hanger-on, when they sign up for your email list and they lurk for a year or two, they really want that extra nudge to be able to purchase this. And the holiday season may be the best time because feelings are running high. They want to be able to share people with gifts and find things that are unique. And you don't want to be bombarded with the same old. But now's a chance for you being a unique, creative person, to really make your product or service pop. After that, it's all the sales. So there's pre-Black Friday, there is Black Friday, there is Cyber Monday, Cyber Tuesday, the last Saturday before Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the day after Christmas, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. Those are your spikes if you were having an online store and you wanted to put sales on. There's different days you can do that. Or if you want to have a bit of an advertising campaign announcing a sale of your services. Hey guys, I'm going to come over to your house and juggle for only $1. Those will be the days to really put your advertising up there, get the word of mouth out there to make those things pop. And now, besides that, because we're getting to commerce a bit, really, I want to go back to the creative aspect of this thing. That's really what New Amsterdam Radio is about. You don't really check out this podcast, learn sales techniques. And to be honest with you, there's some months where I look at my ledger and go, maybe I need to watch a sales technique video of my own. I'm not holier than thou. I totally get it. All I am is sharing my ideas and my experience with you. But it's really more of the creative side of things. If you are someone who's really festive into what they offer, by all means, lean in. If you're someone who understands the game of the holiday season, but your content may or may not line up, I understand that too. But there's other ways you can find a way to get your unique voice through the holiday clutter. Now, what I mean by that is there is certain niches where you can be very anti-holiday for your own benefit. Like you could be a comedian, in my case, and say, bah humbug, I don't like Thanksgiving because XYZ. And you may actually gain some traction with some people who may feel the same way. Or if you say, hey, look, the whole pageantry of gift giving, and I'm not really feeling that. The reason for the season is the man upstairs. I want to make sure that when I create something that has that personal angle, for those who feel the same way about me about the holiday season can partake. This is what I mean about the creative aspect of it. You can really tweak your ideas creatively to speak to the many different sub-demographics and sub-cross-sections who maybe just want to listen to your content, hear your voice, and see what you're working on. Maybe your stuff is more religious. Maybe you are anti-holiday. Maybe you say pets don't get enough love during the season. Maybe you're born from a big family and the holiday tradition for you is being with friends. What can friends do to enjoy your product or service while you're out there enjoying carols and fresh snow and hot cocoa and all that? I know it seems very, very paint the numbers. Yeah, you can make it red and green and charge a markup and call it a day. But I urge you, I challenge you to contextualize what you offer for someone who may be like you or may have your same sensibilities through this season where it seems the whole world has a unified idea of how to feel. Because once you appeal to differences of the walks of life, and you make sure people feel like they are acknowledged, even though they may seem like a minority, i.e. someone doesn't like animals, or i.e. someone doesn't like Santa Claus, that may work into your advantage, if not for buying your product or service, but for being a member of your tribe. Mailing lists, watching your content, telling a friend about your product or service. Cool, huh? Hey, I want to thank you for checking out this edition of New Amsterdam Radio. Check out this episode and all the other episodes wherever you get your podcasts. My name is Flobo Boyce. You can follow me at flobito.com. That's FLOBITO.com. Be back here in a couple weeks, with some more content ideas, some more brand building, and some more gospel for those creatives who are citizens of the city of New Amsterdam. Until next time, this city is yours.